Hi everyone, this is Tony Wheel from a very sunny and hot Florida. My God, it's in the 90s. We have with us today, of course, Gary Parent and Katie and Sarah from Virtuous Unicorns. When I was every week, I'm thinking about, okay, what are we going to talk about the next week? And something always shows up. So for today, I even had three topics, so we can use them the next weeks. But everyone agreed that it should be this topic. I think the other topics were, oh yeah, the health, children's health, and I had a long lesson about allergies, which is majorly interesting to read about that. And but then we also had the 7 stages of acidosis, and I think it's important to know and for everyone to see at what stage you really are at. And of course, I didn't. Did I? I didn't print it. I have to get it on my computer, but I was going to share it anyway. And I sent it to you guys too. I don't know, Katie, Sarah, Gary, if you had time
Hmm?
to quickly go over that.
I did, yes.
And we can, we can talk about all these things and see what shows up, what questions come up. And let me do a screen share if I can find that one today. Oh yeah, that's here. Okay, that didn't work, I think. We'll try again. Oh, here it is. Not what I wanted. I wanted this one. And Sarah, if you see any questions coming up, Sarah or Katie, can you keep an eye on that?
Yes, of
Um,
course.
yeah, well, I'm driving, but I can try.
Oh, okay.
The,
Then,
the
well,
computer's
let's
sitting on my
keep,
husband's
yeah.
lap, so
Please stay safe. So
I will. I
we
will.
have Katie do that. Yeah. Okay. I will read this stuff. And then anytime that you want to say something about it, share something, then please do right away, so don't make me keep going from one thing to the other. The 7 stages of acidosis. Now, what stage are you in? And the following information is critical to know when educating yourself on the principle of detoxification. The 7 stages of acidosis is not shared to cause fear, but to inspire action. It will help you to better assess your own state of health and also learn why you might be experiencing a chronic condition and learn how you take control of your health because you have the ability to change your diet, your thoughts, your lifestyle, and the products that you put on your skin. And this is why I always say when I talk with people, it's like you can be in control. But, it's like Gary always tells us, we have to be aware of our thoughts. So I now, with everyone I talk to, I'm sure to bring that one up because it's like, okay, your body is listening. I experienced that over and over. It seems that whatever I am worried about right now, it is a tooth. Whatever I'm worried about, it's like all the energy is going there, but not the way that I wanted it, more
Mm.
in a negative way. So I have to change my thoughts about that. Okay, nobody's saying anything. We go to stage
No,
one.
okay. I
Oh,
didn't know if he was done. But yes, our story, our thoughts, and to ask yourself when you find yourself up against the wall with a tooth or anything in the body, what is going to be the greatest healing that I have? Financial is one thing, but to help the body heal, we have to remove things if we have to, uh, like with maybe this tooth or whatever it is that you're having. Um, what is the healthiest thing you can do for your body in that situation? Have it removed, have it fixed, have it whatever. Just not a root canal, at least in my opinion. I've had many, and I've had teeth out that had root canals in them, and I felt better after. So our teeth drain into our digestive system, and when our gums are red and puffy, there's a lot of bad bacteria there. There's a lot of there's no or very little circulation, and we're swallowing that. And until we correct it, even if it's something that we don't really want to do, until we correct it, it's hard for the body to heal because it's constantly being bombarded by the infection, let's say, in the teeth or the tooth or whatever it is. So that, I guess that's where I'd leave that.
Yeah, let's go to stage 1, enervation. The loss of energy, poor endurance, and poor muscle tone, total body sluggishness, and weakness. It is at the beginning of all sickness and disease. Fatigue, decreased in motivation are all signs your body is lacking electrical energy and organs are weakening. Acids are starting to back up enough to negatively affect organs, mainly the thyroid, adrenal, kidneys, pancreas, and liver. Before I go to the next stage, anyone can
I
jump.
would like to, yeah, I would say I would like to chime in real quick. This is where most people are living already. It's your chronic fatigue. You have no clarity. You have your brain fog. This is where you're relying on your coffee, your caffeines, your sugars just to push you through the day. It's not laziness. It's just your early stage breakdown. That's where most people are.
Right. That's it is very true. And they're not listening to their body, and that's how they get to stage 2 or stage whatever beyond that. And it can happen really quickly, uh, depending on, because we're in an ebb and flow all the way across, right? So it starts out, um, you don't notice it. And then as time goes by, it gets a little deeper into it and a little deeper into it, or you do something and it corrects it and goes back to normal. But you're moving through these little channels of this dis-ease, wherever that is in the body, and it's actually turning back to carbon, which is where we came from. And until we correct it and get it back to healthy tissue, we'll always have a health issue. Not meant to be a rhyme, but it did. So sorry about that.
Exactly. And, before like we get into that more, it's like what we're talking about today is more than just symptoms. It's a pattern of decline that most people have been trained to ignore. And acidosis isn't sudden, it's a slow separation from our life force, really. And we're designed to live in a state of alkaline flow, hydrated, oxygenated, light filled. And when we eat the foods that we talk about all the time, like the fruits, the berries, the melons, and things like that, that's what pulls us toward our life force. And when we eat against that design, the body starts to warn us. And most of us we have no idea how to listen to our body.
Exactly. And it's not hard to listen. We just have to be in like a stillness or a silence, almost like and a lot of people say they can't do this, but a meditative state. And all a meditative state is when you quiet yourself down. The biggest issues in your life come up so you can deal with them. And once you've dealt with that and release the emotional attachment to it, your health actually starts to shift because there's more energy coming in the body. Look at it like a dense ball stuck in the body, and the energy can't flow through it. Well, as that's released through your story, through your hydration, your oxygenation, and mineralization, minerals is a big part of this, and it's what's being taken out of the food. So we have to find other ways to do that. And the master cleanse is one, fruit juice, vegetable juices, anything that's alive, whether you eat it whole, I mean, that's another way, but liquids go deeper into the tissue quicker, and it's less digestive process in that. Although fruit doesn't have a heavy digestion process in it when you eat fruit, it's actually has its own enzymes and electrolytes and digestive properties. So it's actually helping the body that way. And there's very few foods, especially manufactured or cooked foods, that will hold that much power. And it's not that we can't have those other things, but we have to really limit ourselves and listen to our body. If we eat something and we start to lose energy, like we fall asleep or something like that, well, your body is being taxed to the point where it cannot generate enough energy to function. And so these are the things that we just look for as individuals. As we increase our breath, we increase our energy, because energy, the electromagnetic field, is energy in the body, where the food is there to not just energize, but to cleanse the body. And as we clean it, our health will return. And we're going to have to go. Well, I don't know that we have to go, but the more liquids we start putting in our body, the stronger our body will get. Because we're feeding cells, is what we're doing. We're feeding and cleaning. And if you have compromised something in your body because of the way you eat, if you go to liquids and start flushing that out, and you start doing breath work to help manually pump the body, opening up the 6 lymphatic gates, you'll start moving things and your health will return. Any place where it's stuck, it's going to be inflammation, and that's in the lymphatic system. So that's why we want good herbs like cleavers and skullcap and things like that that can go in. Cleavers helps open up that lymphatic system so they can flush that stuff out. And if you have a problem with a tooth, that's a lymphatic issue. It's an energy issue. And it's minerals and all those things. Water, actually, when we drink just water, they pull minerals from the body. But if you're doing a fruit juice, a vegetable juice, and the Master Cleanse is a fruit juice, but it's the least expensive that I've seen that does an amazing job. You're rehydrating, reoxygenating, helping your body by giving it. Well, if you eat dense food, 60% of your available energy goes to digest that food. Well, it doesn't happen with the liquids. So you're giving your whole digestive system a break so it can recalibrate and re-energize itself so that you can be healthy again. Okay, I'm gonna stop because I'm talking way too much.
Yeah, I heard you say something that I actually disagree with, and
Good.
but I'm not going into it now.
Okay.
The thing is that what a lot of us, I think everybody, is we get used to aches and pains. That's normal. That's what you grew up with. You have an
Mhm.
issue even as a child, and it's like, oh, it'll go away. Yeah, it will go away until it gets worse and worse and worse. And I think we all experience that throughout even childhood, teens, and adulthood. But and then oh, it's the occasional headache, and it's the occasional cramps and diarrhea, and without understanding what it is, and that it's actually caused by what you were eating and your dehydration. And this is where I feel that water is really important to help with cleaning out, and that's not just the minerals. But we go on to stage 2, sensation. You begin feeling the acid buildup caused by your acidic lifestyle. We never like to hear that, right? That we tell people, oh, you have an acidic lifestyle. Now, don't worry about it. We all had. There is no one
Mhm.
that we know of, who did not have, who had an already always alkaline lifestyle. It was always acidic. And the acidity is not just from the food that you eat, the whole your lifestyle. It is all the stresses that you have, how you deal with it. So it is much more than just your food. Okay, this might manifest in a headache now and again, or other symptoms based upon your genetic predisposition. sensitivities, allergies, food and environment, itching, rashes, fungal overgrowth on the skin, eczema, asthma, leaky gut, light and sound sensitivities, burning and watery eyes, muscle spasm, focus and emotional weakness, migraines. The lifestyle is more than moderately over acidic. So stage 2, and hey, we still have 5 to go. It's not really good.
Mhm.
You already, you already have, and so many people have allergies. We have babies that are born with allergies. My sister was, and I was told I had allergies, and I got asthma, and I thought I had. Back then, I was in my early 20s. I thought I had a healthy diet, and what, no meat. I mean, I was vegetarian. Yes, I ate cheese and I ate dairy, but no meat or fish. But I got asthmatic bronchitis, so I was smoking at the time, but that stopped smoking right away. But all the things like muscle spasm is often, it's not that you're low on magnesium, it is that you're dehydrated. Drink a glass of water and you will see you get through the night without any muscle spasms. But focus and emotional weaknesses, that is a problem with the stagnated lymph and your kidneys not filtering, and again, dehydration. So, yeah, if anyone wants to chime in here.
I'll, I'll go first. There was something on there about when you talked about the genetic part of it, and people think that because it runs in your family, you guys will have all this stuff too. But the only thing that runs in your family is the way people eat, the way you celebrate holidays, the way you live. Well, that's what my family has done all this time. This is what I do. This is what I grew up on. This, stuff like that. So yeah, our genetics, they load the gun, but your lifestyle is what actually fires it, per se. So you can change your genetics. Your genetics can be expressed or they can be turned off. So it's completely up to you on how you want to do that. But also too, like, stage 2, this is where your body is no longer silent. This is where you're starting to get all of your skin reactions, your emotional shifts, anxiety, ADHD disorders, all that stuff. And underneath it, it's just cellular irritation. And your body's not betraying you. It's not going against you. What is that one that they roll everything up into? Chronic fatigue syndrome, or there's something else that goes right along with that. When they can't figure out
Kind of
what's
like,
really wrong with you and they blame it on. Go
right,
ahead.
An
fibromyalgia
autoimmune?
and Hashimoto's.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah,
Autoimmune.
autoimmune.
Yeah, where your
Yeah.
body is attacking itself and stuff like that. So yeah, your body is not betraying you. It's begging you for alignment.
Yeah, it's asking you to change. It's all in your story, because that's what the medical system does. Most, I would say 99% of the time, is that they're trying to get you to take drugs and surgery and chemo and radiation, because that's where they make their money. But really, your body is talking to you, asking you to shift your diet, your breathing, your hydration, uh your story. And like, just taking your shoes off and grounding to the earth will change your whole electrical thing and change many things in your body. The biggest one is it will separate the red blood cells, and the breathing will help create more red blood cells, which can bring more oxygen to the cells of the body. So really important. When your body is in trouble like that, that's what it's asking for. But we don't get that second part. We don't, our doctors aren't telling us that. It's like all the times of all the trouble I've had with my teeth over the years, and the dentist, many dentists I've been to, never once did they say, your teeth drain down under your jawbone and it's your lymphatic system. So if you're having issues with that, to get that opened up and get that hydration, the oxygenation, and the minerals in there with your diet to rebuild those cells, that's super important. So
Okay, on to stage 3, irritation. You are now in metabolic acidosis. Mucus built up, congestion, headache. Katie?
No, that wasn't me. I'm on mute.
Oh, okay. Because I thought somebody wanted to say something, and I keep talking, and I thought that's not nice.
Must have been Sarah.
Okay. Well, Sarah's quiet now.
Yeah. Well, isn't she driving? Who's driving?
Yeah, is Sarah still there?
I just saw that she just got disconnected, so something must have
Oh, okay.
happened.
Okay.
But we
'cause
can move on.
Yep.
Yeah, but is he connected again?
No, I'll let you know when she gets connected again.
Maybe I have to do something to get her back in. So let me see. I can do that here, I think. Because we can't leave her hanging there.
Yeah, when she gets into the waiting room, she usually lets us know. Oh, there she is.
Yeah, and now I have to show grid video. God, this thing always goes on.
That area all of a
Oh,
sudden.
there she is. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry about that.
no
I am
problem.
driving, sorry.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something else.
Okay, say something then.
I wonder if she get disconnected again.
Okay, well, we move on.
Yep.
And that is WIN stage 3, that you are now in metabolic acidosis. Mucus built up, congestion, headache, swollen glands, chronic UTIs, yeast infection, bacterial vaginitis, discharge from any orifice, vertigo, ear infection, sinusitis, strep, parasites, IBS, chronic coughing, and hacking. Well, you're out at a point that deeper acidosis is developing from this lifestyle. And yeah, I had ear infection that's 6 months old. So you can see how important it is what diet the parents are actually on. And we don't talk about it often. And yeah, we get children while we're not healthy. Dr. Morse always likes to say, like, okay, if you want to have a child, be healthy for at least 3 years before you do that. And then you can bear a healthy child. But life doesn't always work like that. So we may not always be as much in control with that part as we like to, but it is important, for healthy children. So yeah, and I think many of us have, the headaches, the swollen glands, the UTIs, and the yeast infections so much. As soon as sinusitis. I never heard a word like that. And yeah, the chronic coughing. I have had that actually. Well, it's a long time ago, but you hear that a lot with people. So that means you are in stage 3 now. From here on, it only gets worse. So be prepared.
Tony, you know what? When you mentioned the chronic
Oh,
coughing.
go ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry, real quick here. So
Nope, go for it.
a family member of mine is constantly clearing her throat. And that's when you have to constantly clear your throat, that is irritation. That's mucus coming down. And so that's this sign right here. You're in stage 3 because everything is being irritated. And that's why you have to constantly be clearing your throat. And so I did say to this woman, next time you eat and you clear your throat, next time you clear your throat, pay attention to what were you doing prior to and see, is there a pattern of when you clear your throat more often than other times? So, and at this stage, stage 3 irritation, this is usually also when you're like, I have had enough, I need to go to the doctor. It's kind of like you're more cold and flu symptoms, like, oh, I am definitely sick. That's when you recognize I'm sick. Oh, but it's going to pass. Well, no, the symptoms are a little bit more severe, but not as severe as stage 4. This is just when you become more aware of it and you're kind of dealing with it the best that you can in the moment. I guess is how I would describe it. Okay, Sarah, you always have great things to say, so I'm going to be quiet and I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Oh, Katie, you have great things to say too. We all do. But I hope you guys can hear me because I did lose signal before. Um, Tony, it's sinusitis is how you pronounce it. And it's when you have chronic sinus infection. So then they classify it as sinusitis. And a lot of people get those. It's like where you get lots of pain on the sides of your nose, under your eye, and you get the headache in the front, your eyes hurt, your ears hurt, even your teeth can hurt. And it's just congestion that's stuck back there. And what they treat that with is, guess what? An antibiotic. They'll give you like a Z-Pack or something with that. And I mean, I don't know. To me, that's overuse. I think we should use our antibiotics the way they're intended for. But yeah, I mean, it's just stagnated, lymph that's stuck there and just all in your face. But yeah, the mucus is your buffering. It's the way that your body buffers against the acid to try to protect your tissue. I mean, it's a sign that your body is really fighting here, but it's your body's miraculous way of trying to protect the tissue from the acid.
Well, this is when you are at this stage, it's very clear that your kidneys are not filtering adequately. So, the toxins cannot go anywhere. And it is irritation, and that gets you to the next stage, unless anyone wants to.
I was
check
going to
in.
add something real quick, Tony.
Right.
So at stage 3, when we're talking about this, all I can see is Gary teaching us about how to open up our lymphatic gates and how important this is to open up the lymphatic gates so that that lymph, which Sarah was just talking about, up in our sinus area, so that it can move. Because the first gate is right up there. That's your collarbone. And then your second gate is behind your ears. And all of that is so close to where your sinuses are. So I hear Gary. So I just wanted to share that. Okay,
Oh, it's
stage
true.
4.
Oh my, it stays quiet, so I'll move on then. Stage 4,
Yep, stage 4.
inflammation. Okay, retained tissue, organ and/or glandular acidosis causing all experience pain. Pain is acid, and acid is pain. You cannot have pain in the body without an associated metabolic and/or dietary acid. Inflammation, water retention, swollen and painful feet and legs, weak connective tissue, prolapses like hemorrhoids, hernia, fallen bladder and uterus, loose skin, hanging, swollen, baggy eyes, gout, arthritis pain, nodules, soft bumps and lumps appearing around the body. And you have now serious acidosis imbalance. And I hate to say it, but I think I pretty much, other than the hemorrhoids, I had it all. God. It's like, and then, but we can laugh about it, and then we see it and recognize it, and it's, oh my gosh, I had all that. And not even in the last few years, I mean, in my younger years already. And then realizing that it can all heal. So,
Yeah, in 3 and 4 is kind of why I was waiting for 4. If it says pancreatitis and bacterial vaginitis and anything that says itis is acid, and there's too much of it in that area. And it's also in this part 4 is a parathyroid issue because it's connective tissue. So that's one of the reasons that you have issues. I was looking for where that said that because I can get a whole screen here. Okay, a fallen bladder or uterus or loose skin. Well, that's all parathyroid. And there are some great herbs that will help with that. But the oxygen and the proper hydration with live liquids so that we can put more minerals in our body to help build these areas of weakness. That's really, the body is asking us to take care of that, but we're going to people who don't tell us that. They just give us meds, or, they wait because the lymphatic system is their best friend, because all they're doing is blocking the pain, and that pain is in the lymphatic system. And then it gets worse, and you get a little stronger medicine, and then maybe you're looking at surgery, and then you get the surgery, and then you may be looking at more medication or chemo and radiation. I mean, it's a road that we're walked down, in my opinion. And that's what Dr. Morse calls Hellville. And we need to turn around and get going back up to Wellville. But the best way to do that is to listen to your body. If you eat something, your body has a reaction to it, either stop eating it or figure out why that you're having that response. So that's what I have to say about that.
Okay. That's very, very good. And the other part too, I just want to chime in is we do not think that our medical doctors are evil. They are just meeting people where people are willing what they're willing to do. And I have a friend who's already had a double mastectomy. She had a breast cancer scare, and now she tells me she's getting her gallbladder removed. I'm like, okay. But again, her doctors are meeting her where she's willing to do. Most people are not willing to change their diet. They would rather leave their spouse than change their diet. I mean, that's where a lot of people are. And don't get me wrong, it's hard. I mean, it sounds easy. Just eat fruit. That's easy. No, it's not, because we are completely surrounded by temptation. And, there's all kinds of stuff that's engineered in there to make us want to eat that too. And it's only temporary feelings that we get. But yeah, I mean, for stage 4, we get mad at our body for these symptoms. You got your bags in your eyes, like Gary said, the loose skin. You start retaining water here, and people are like, "Oh, I drink plenty of water and stuff, but I'm retaining water." Well, you got lymphatic problems there, and kidney problems probably going on too. That even at this stage, you could go and have your kidneys checked, and you'll still be within the okay area. But really, there's all kinds of red flags there that you're not realizing. And what's it called? Yeah, it's your body crying out that it has too much alkalinity. And also what you said too, Gary, about anything that ends in itis, that is acidic. And I didn't even realize that, because especially like when you talk about like bacterial, was it the bacterial vaginitis, whatever they call that? I hear that all the time in people, and you don't think about that that's an acidic overload. Or when women are also having their cysts are popping and stuff like that. And I mean, women go through terrible pains during their cycles, and just even different parts of the month. And it's just acid that is really forming down there. What's the other one? Is it, oh my gosh, a lot of women get, yes, that one. Oh my gosh, that's terrible for women to go through. And they have surgeries, they go and they scrape it out, and they do all kinds of stuff. And yeah, so get that acid out of your body.
Yes, Sarah, we already have these things when we are only in our 20s.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah, and it's sad that it's something that's this, simple to get rid of, but then people suffer for years.
Yeah, we didn't know. You go to a doctor and they do the procedures, and I had several procedures where they said, "Yeah, well, we have to do it in so many months again," and I was like, "I don't think so." So that is where I was.
Oh yeah,
this cannot be good. I'm not going to do this again. But
right, and the pap
yeah,
smears, and
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, in a way we know it, but we didn't know enough, to say no to a doctor. I mean, I walked out of hospitals and I was told to never come back. They would not help me anymore. And I was considered as
Yeah.
a crazy person because I didn't want to take their medications, and because I didn't want to be a guinea pig because they didn't know what it was for. And I was like, well, if you don't know, I'm not going to take it. I was only in my early 20s. So it's like
Yeah.
we do know. And I think intuitively we do know, but it's like you start debating or you try to find information, because when we get to the next part in the talk about fibromyalgia, nobody knew what fibromyalgia was. I mean, even 40 years ago, when you first, I think it was about 40 years ago in the Netherlands when we first heard about it, because my mother was always in pain. She felt that her body was always hurting, and she was moody for it. And she took painkillers, and finally there was a diagnosis. It was fibromyalgia. Well, now we know fibromyalgia is just high acidosis.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Hashimoto.
that's what I was looking for, was fibromyalgia and autoimmune.
Right.
It's when they can't figure
Right.
out what it is, so they just created a name for it, and it's like,
Yep.
okay, but yeah,
Hashimoto's and ED is the
yes,
same.
Lyme disease, and
Yeah,
just
but
I don't know.
fibromyalgia was in stage 5, so I wasn't there yet.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
correct. But that was the word I
Got
was
ahead
looking
of
for when
us.
they
Yeah.
do try to sum it all up.
But it is interesting because I do remember going to a doctor, because if you would even lightly touch me, then it was pain, and it was the same with my mother. But we didn't know about acidosis in the body. We'd never heard about it. Doctor didn't talk about it. I think I was lucky I had a homeopath as a doctor who always asked me, okay, what do you think it is? I always got out of his office with not with any pharmaceuticals, because he didn't prescribe that, and always felt better when I left him. It's like, yeah, I know. But I've had herniated disc twice. And I've had well, the arthritis pain. I had huge nodule on my thyroid, and they're always poking and coming out with medication, and then you want to know, what is the medication doing? Yeah, well, it's good for you. They don't know, and there is so much they don't know. But I can see, when you would type in any of these symptoms in Google, and you get all this medical information, and you get overwhelmed. And they tell you where it is. Well, they sometimes tell you where it is coming from, and oftentimes it is genetic. So yeah, you got stuck with it. No, you don't. We know that now. I had recently someone bringing up again, what is it, the MTFR or HR something, and you cannot detox if you have that gene. Well, Dr. Morse talked about that, and he kind of like, yeah, that's all nonsense.
It
So
is total nonsense.
yeah,
It is total nonsense. Because if you couldn't detox, you wouldn't be here talking.
right, right. This is what I
You'd,
always bring up. Our body is a 24/7 healing system.
yes.
It's like, see it as it wants to be the best version of us, but you have to create the correct circumstances to be able to get to that point or stay at that point. So, yeah. Okay, we move on to, what was it? Stage 5, induration. The solidification of acids, tissues, organs, and glands. Fibromyalgia is a great example, though it doesn't have to be such a chronic condition. Solidification, heart fat, bumps and lumps, cholesterol, cystic growth, fibroids, tumors, teratomas, blood clots, warts, Browning moles, endometriosis, and heart cancers and polyps. Now you are in a life-threatening acidosis. And then to think of it, I was in my 20s when I had endometriosis, and it is painful, very. So, and a lot of women are going through all that. And throughout our life, we have been going through so many things that were so unnecessary. And then we get to a point that we figure out what we should and should not eat. And it's still a struggle to keep eating the correct foods. Okay, guys, jump in.
I'll jump in real quick because I only have a little bit to say here. But at this point, you're not dealing with symptoms anymore. You're in a state of cellular breakdown. This is the point where the body is literally returning to the earth before your time is finished. So this is the point where it's, yeah.
No, we're not there yet. We still have another stage to go.
We do, but your body, at this point, your body is starting to, okay, these are your choices. And I'm not saying it's not gonna keep fighting for you, but this is the point of you're getting on the point of it's gonna be a very hard battle to come back after this.
And you still can, Sarah, because I've proven that I can, and so many people with me, and but it's not easy. It's not as easy as when you are at stage 1 or stage 2. But and even when you are at stage 6, then we can still come back from it. So never give up.
No, never ever give up. But I'm just saying, at this point, you better start making some really serious choices here of reversing your stuff, and you better really get on that train to Wellville.
Right. I always see it like you have the stage 2 or stage 3 or even 4 and you didn't really listen. You let it be, and it's like it'll go away. Yeah, it comes away and then comes back worse. And then I always see it as a big kick in the butt. It's like, okay, now you're going to listen because it will not get better on its own with what you are doing. But so many people don't realize it is the it is, yeah, what is it? It's not a punishment, and it's like not like, yeah, well, my health is like this and there's no way, no return from that. There always is, and it really is your responsibility what you put in your body. When I talk to somebody, it's always, my question is always, how much water do you drink? And everybody always say, oh, not enough. They don't get enough liquids, be it fruit water or be it distilled water or lemon water. It's always not enough. See, so with oftentimes we do know what we need to do, but we don't do it. And I do feel that, and I have been considering that we need actually groups where people can, and that is why I set up even the Facebook groups, but I think people are oftentimes too embarrassed or afraid to ask or come clean. It's like, I need help. I talked to a beautiful woman yesterday. She knows as much as I do. And she has done the healing, and she may be here today. I don't know if she's listening. But she was like, she needs a tough person who gives her a kick in the butt, and tells her what to do. And that's what, tough love. We do that too. And we are doing these things, and we are open to talk with anyone, get them through the healing. That's why I always say I see myself as a tour guide on someone's health journey. And we give the tools, and we're here to help. And not to make your life more miserable, but make things clear. And I think with this overview, there are a lot of people who do not want to change their diet, who we say, well, they're not ready, they are on their own journey. And like my sister was, who is younger sister, who's not with us anymore, but it was her journey. She didn't want to listen. But I think when you get this list in front of you, it'll definitely make you think twice by not taking any action to finally start your real healing journey and overcome your worries. So I think it is important. So this is in PDF, and it's available for anyone who wants to have it. It is not as is available on the internet. The information is, but I got it from different sources. What exactly the 7 stages of acidosis is. So please, email is always in the description, so you can always reach me. And if you can remember my name, TonyWheel@gmail.com, you can send it there too. But I I rather have it on the email healthywithfruits@gmail.com, but it's in the description. Okay, we go on to ulceration.
Can I say
Yeah,
one
I would
thing?
say I
Tony,
have one more thing to say
all
too,
of them.
but go ahead,
Yeah.
Gary.
Yep. So as we're going through these, we're on 5 here, stage 5. The first one, your body is asking for help. The second one, it's kind of more intense asking for help. Then we go through these stages. Each one of these, right now, the body is just about screaming for help. And you're not paying attention to it. This is your body speaking to you. When you see these symptoms, that's your body saying, I desperately need your help. And as we go down through these, you're going to find that it's screaming desperately for your help. And the help is always the same: breath, proper hydration, nutrition, oxygen, grounding to the earth, having a great story. These are all things that will help you get out of that. And the one thing I haven't seen in here is stress, because stress can cause acidosis too, and a lot of other issues. But okay, that's where I'll leave right there.
Okay, Sarah,
Um,
Katie.
Yep, I just wanted to add that one last thing was that that's why we talk so much about it's important to start now while you can. Because when you get to stage 5, this is when you are really battling here. You really are trying to, fight an uphill battle at this point. It's starting. And that's why it's so important to, start today, even if you don't feel the symptoms. You don't want to wait until you feel the symptoms. You don't want to wait until you're at this point of endometriosis and, fibromyalgia and all these other things. You want to get on it now, because at this point, this is where it is like, well, I'm sorry, you better get on grapes at this point. You better just be on pure fruit. And that's what's so hard for people. And then you're getting into the points of, well, don't use that shampoo, don't use that lotion, don't use any of this stuff, because it's just that bad.
Yeah, when you mentioned, Gary, that one thing is not in there like stress, but I think stress is not a symptom, and it's what is caused by stress, and that I think that's why I put in the part of with the changes, change your lifestyle, and maybe I should add that includes handling your stress level.
Yeah,
I
I
thought,
just, yeah, go ahead.
Gary, you go ahead.
Well, yeah, that is true. Kind of forgot where I was going with that. So everything that we're doing, like our food has addictive chemicals in it, and has chemicals in it that can break the body down. So this is part of the reason for changing the diet. But all ads, all media, everything, and your doctors are saying diet doesn't matter, diet doesn't matter. And they're believing them, even though they're going through these symptoms, because nobody is sharing that these symptoms are causing the dis-ease in your body. And if you are able to go to fruit, like a grape fast, then your body can start to correct itself. And we can have a cold and flu-like symptom from that, because the only way the body can get rid of what it doesn't want is to push it out through 13 channels of elimination. That's it. And the only thing it can do is methylate what you eat, and methylation is a digestion process, pulls what it needs out of what's in that food. Hopefully it's what the body needs. It's doing its best it can to pull that out and eliminate the other stuff. Well, once your elimination system gets congested, that's where all these stages come from. The more congested it is, the deeper you go into these stages. And it's like a river that has ice in it. It's like a log jam or mud starts to filtrate into the water, and it gets deeper, more and more mud going in there, and it starts to slow things down, and the river actually gets sick. It gets stagnant. And that's the same thing with our body. From our mouth to our anus, is the river of life. And if it gets compromised, it compromises the tissue in the body, and that's what causes all these issues. Okay, I'm done.
Well, and I was going to touch back on what Sarah was saying about, and what Gary was saying, each stage is your body asking for help. And as you move to the next stage, it just gets a little bit more intense. And then Sarah said at the stage that we're kind of talking about, like right now, stage 5, this is when, you need to do something, and it's good to start now. And we also were previously talking about how we have the medical field that we have right now, but we're also kind of becoming more aware of how the body works, how it was created, and things like that. And so we're in this transition period. And so the reason why we do these videos or these podcasts every week is to get this information out. And as this information comes out, like Sarah was saying, start now, even if it's just one thing, because you do not want to get to the point of even if it's stage 5 or 6, where, yes, I'm sorry, but right now you have to eat all grapes. And you know what? You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. Oh, and you can't use this and this and this. That is so overwhelming. But when you don't listen to your body and you get so sick, that's what has to happen. You have to basically flip your world upside down, and it can be so overwhelming. And that's where people then kind of give up, and they're not willing to do something that can truly save them, and return their body to health and regenerate their cells and things like that. So that's what's so important about these conversations that we're having, and the way that we interact with others, always sharing this information, whether they're willing to listen or not, because what we're doing is we're planting the seeds so that then one day they can take that first step in their journey of healing and restoring their body. And then hopefully it won't be so overwhelming as when they get just so sick that, I'm sorry, all you have to do right now is eat grapes. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Truth.
I like the way you said that, Gary. First, it is like the body is asking, and asking a little stronger until it's screaming. I always saw it that way. You didn't listen before. Well, it's going to be so bad. Now you have to listen, and it's true. But that is usually when people start finally taking action, and I rather see them taking action a little sooner and realizing that with aches and pains are all signals that something is getting acidic, that it's not the way your body should be. You should not feel anything. You should feel like you're walking on clouds and not have all the aches and pains and all the issues that you are going through. Even when, as a young woman, I mean, having a period and you are for 5 days in extreme pain, and think, well, that's just, what a woman has to bear. No, you don't. When you get healthy, and I don't care what age you are coming to me or to any of us, I'm very happy to see that I now have people in their teens that feel that they want to heal their body. Very happy to experience that. So when you get to stage 6 with ulceration, there is one thing in there that I will absolutely remove because I totally disagree. But it says it's one step closer to an early death. Well, ignoring all the things that you that are going on in your body and ignoring them is one step closer to an early death. Ulceration, and then it says no healing potential. I will remove that because I have seen the healing from ulcerations, the healing from extreme sores on a leg, and it was not even that the person was fully on fruit, but at least he left out all the foods that were messing his whole body up, and all the sores healed without him doing anything other than the fruits and the herbs. So ulceration, no healing potential. No, okay, we'll leave that out. Rotting inner stadium, inability to digest food, burnt esophagus, ulcers in the stomach and all around the body, diabetic feet, necessary organ transplant, dialysis. About dialysis, Dr. Moore says as long as you can pee, you can heal. You can heal the kidneys. Amputation legs, gallbladder. So many people have gallbladder issues, and you change your diet and you will see it's getting better. Sores, non-injury bruising. There you go, the parathyroid again. Bleeding colon, bleeding bladder, coughing up blood, psoriasis, and nerve damage. I think psoriasis already is part of stage 4, not stage 6. And it's called a late stage acidosis. Okay, anyone can chime in.
This is when your body is really screaming. But we don't have a lot of help from the people that we go to because they're limited too. It's not that they don't want to help us, they do. But the people that are running the food industry and the medical system, and they have a process, and they think it's the best process in the world. Yet about 70%, which I'm not a big guy on percentages, but that's what they say, about 70% of Americans are in late stage acidosis. They're in chronic acidosis. And think of acid like a fire. How do you put out a fire? Well, you use water. And the best way to do it is not just with water, because water will take out the impurities, but it'll also strip minerals from the body. And a lot of stem cells come out through the urine. So the best way to do it is to mineralize your water, not to buy water that's been mineralized. When we see that, those do not light conductivity lights. If they don't light a conductivity light, they don't light your body. So this is what's so important about fruits and berries and melons, is they carry a charge that helps to recharge your mitochondria, which is the engine of every cell. And when you get acid in there, it's not producing, it's diminishing the mitochondria's ability to function. And that way the cell gets weaker. And as the cell gets weaker, we get weaker. And how do you turn that around? Because that's all an electrical thing as well as a dietary. So breath and hydration and nutrition and movement and rest, grounding to the earth and having a great story. Those are the things that heal us. And how many of those things are we doing? Through the medical system, we're not. You won't get therapy until you're so sick that they've done surgery or your body is completely falling apart. Then they'll send you to a therapy thing and they'll teach you how to move. I'm not really sure they teach you how to breathe or breathe properly. But these are the issues we face as the public in a system that's based on money instead of health. Or I can't say instead of health. They're telling us health, but I don't know how much health they're actually giving us. I was talking to a guy the other day. His whole life he's been sick, just like many people. I said, how long have you been going to doctors? Well, my whole life. And you're not better yet? You might want to think about that. Why are you not getting better? That's the place you're supposed to go to get better. So when we look at it that way, we understand that we need to listen to what our body is telling us and do the things that it takes to regenerate the body on a cellular level. And until we do that, we're going to continue to suffer. And that's how nature, that's how the body, that's how everything works. We're not supposed to be having synthetic meds. We're supposed to be having natural things. And fruits, berries, and melons are those natural things. So I'll end right there.
What I was going to say was, I know that you want to remove that from the paper, and as you should, because people still can heal here. But if you decide not to change, if you decide to continue on the same path that you're on, you kind of are leaving your body no other option. But if you decide to change, and if you decide to start, bringing life into your body through fruits, berries, melons, and walk and grounding and being with trees and, clearing your mind, getting rid of stress, then yes, I mean, our bodies are miracles. God made our bodies to regenerate and live. I mean, the fact that we only make it to 70, 80, most people 60, 70, 80 years old, that's failure even still. We should be living a lot longer with lots of vitality. Not people think, oh, I don't want to be 80 years old, and because their vision of 80 years old is laying in a
Right.
bed and on all kinds of meds. At 80 years old, we should still be full of vitality and life. I mean, they lived to be hundreds of years old in the Bible, and they weren't, bedridden and being pushed around on a gurney. I mean, God made our bodies as miracles. I mean, really sit down and think about your body for just a moment. It's a miracle. And a lot of the times they can't even explain it. So our bodies can do amazing things if you feed it what the Garden of Eden had in it. If you eat worldly foods, you will become worldly. If you eat garden foods, you will become the garden.
And you smell like the garden. Well, in like flowers or fruits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because in a real garden, like a fruit forest and stuff like that, you don't have to use mulches and manures and things like that. A fruit forest is something that's already there. So yeah, you want to smell like the garden. You want to smell beautiful and earthy and fruity and flower, stuff like that. And your body does smell that way. Like, I'm not kidding you. Even your crap will not smell. I mean, it's amazing. You can
Yeah.
literally say my stuff doesn't stink.
Right. And if we were on the correct diet, because we're the only animals or insects or whatever it is that has toilet paper. When our diet is right, we don't need toilet paper.
Nope. Do a
So,
40 day what is it, lemon water,
yep.
and find out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'll
I
tell you
mean,
too, the cleaner you get, the more your toilet paper will hurt your bottom in the first place. So find some
yep.
good TP in the first place.
All right. Yes. Because there is a lot of it out there. It's like 60 grit sandpaper. Uh, but yes, um, many of the things that we're being guided through or to are not helping our bodies. They're holding them. And the more we eat the food that causes that dis-ease and it starts to build in the body, I mean, that's what allergies are, and in like peanut allergies, that's mold. But they're not being told it's mold. I met a woman in the park. I was doing Qigong there, and she asked me about her daughter. She's 11 years old, and she's been going to the doctor for a long time, and they're giving her meds because she has uh, peanut allergies. Not once was she ever told it was mold. So I said, look up mold and see how to eliminate it. And that's the only way you're going to get it out is to detox it out. And blood clotting, that's actually lack of oxygen and not grounding to the earth. You can ground to the earth, and within 10 seconds, all your red blood cells will separate. And when we breathe right into the bone marrow naturally, and it strengthens and makes the bones more flexible, and it builds red blood cells to carry more oxygen to the cells so that your body can heal. So these are really, really important, but very simple things to understand. Um, and that's what I like about what we're doing on this show is we're just breaking it down to the simple things because those are the things that work. And that's why we're not taught that. We're not taught how to breathe. We're not taught how to uh, eat or digest our food properly, or it just goes on and on, 6 feet apart during the, well, your heart generates out 3 feet, and we're reading off people's energies. Well, it isolates us because we're a cell, just like any cell. And when we get in isolation and we're locked in a room and we're not interacting with other cells, that's like a cancer cell in your body. It's not communicating with the rest of the cells, and it thinks that it's trying to save itself and is building this tumor, and it's living on the blood, and the lymph isn't able to clean that out. That's why when you go on these diets and you get the lymph moving, the tumors will go away. And I've seen it happen many times with people that, and I'm sure the rest of you have too, is you increase hydration and breath, and you get the body moving internally, and it starts to break up all that congestion, and everything goes out. That's the beauty of the body, and it's what we're not being taught, in my opinion. Okay, I'll end right there.
Okay, now we have stage 7, degeneration. I really don't want to read this. Okay, the final stage of acidosis that leads to exhaustion of the physical body, like death, degeneration, death of the cells, inability to regenerate health cells, total acidic, cancerous environment, organs shutting down, blood is poisoned by overgrown microforms. Decomposing has begun to return to its carbon state. And still, at this point, I do believe that when we make drastic changes, we can turn this at least somewhat around. And yeah.
Well, it's like my friend Nancy. They carried her in from a hospice bed, and we started doing qigong and breath work, and started doing proper hydration. And in 5 classes, they kicked her out of hospice and took her support away. And in 6 weeks, she passed her 3-wheel motorcycle permit test and was able to live alone at her camp for a year and a half that she thought she'd never even be able to go back and visit. There is no too late. As long as you understand and and we're in a group, so there's the group energy, and we're all cells, so we're empowering each other in these groups. And that's really, really what it's all about. You breathe, you move, you rest, you hydrate, and the body will come back. It wants to come back. There will be a day when it doesn't. We all have that thing. No matter how smart anybody is, they only live so long. But like Da Vinci, who was one of my guys that I study, I even named my sign shop after him. He was the first recorded vegan. And he was over 6 feet tall when most people were like 4 or 5 feet, and they lived to be 35, and he lived to be 68. So there are footprints left for us, and that doesn't mean that everyone should, in my opinion, doesn't mean everybody should be a vegan, doesn't mean everybody should be a vegetarian, doesn't mean that everybody should be a meat eater. You have to figure out your chemical combination in your body. And when you give it what it needs, it will thrive. So I'll end it right there.
Anyone
Yeah,
else?
I would say I agree with that, Gary. I mean, we follow certain things that we do, but I'm a very strong advocate for when you are healing, you have to feed your body light and you have to feed your body life.
Yes.
There are very rare circumstances that I know we have spoken about where somebody did eat raw meat in order to fix something in their stomach, but again, that shows that when your body is overwhelmed or bombarded with stuff, even if
Yes.
you just narrow it down to just one thing that allow the body to digest, the body is always in a constant state of healing. And it's not until you get to these end stages or these, higher things. We're not saying that anything is impossible. It's going to be a harder battle for you. So best to start now. And I mean, I people see it all the time in my animals. I never give up. I all the way until the very end. I'm still like, okay, we can still, or let's one more, or, whatever. So I'm always an advocate for somebody, but I'm just saying the battle is going to be harder the longer you wait. So do it now. Don't wait. Life is good, especially when you feel good. Life is very good.
Yes. You shouldn't feel your body at all.
Mm-mm.
It should be just something, a vehicle to move you around. The brain runs the body. It's in charge of the body. And we're very poor caretakers of that. That mitochondria that's in that cell is a magnetic draw for the electromagnetic field. Well, as it starts to lose power, you start to lose that connection with the electromagnetic field, the plasma, right? So we have, our blood is plasma. The universe has plasma in it, and we're breathing that in. That's what gives us life. And we're shallow breathing. We're not hydrating properly. We're moving way too much mentally and physically. If you notice the media, everything is going at 100 to 1,000 miles an hour, and the mind doesn't know the difference, and it's hard for it to settle back down. And people have a hard time meditating. That's why, because their mind is like racing. So as we learn to take control of that through our breath, because every emotion is attached to a breath and every breath to an emotion, when we learn to eliminate those, think of, I probably already said this, but think of your emotions as a knot in the body and the energy can't flow through. Well, until you do the proper things to release that energy, when it releases, it opens up, it's a void left behind. The energy can flow in there and it'll recharge the mitochondria in those cells. And that's how you get your life back. It's breath, and I've already been through this 100 times, but it never changes. The medical system doesn't seem to change. They're still using chemo they were using 100 years ago. They say they're updating it, but it's not really working. And you're putting acid right into your body. And the problem is acidosis. Now, I know why they do it, because they think that, and it could be true, they give you acid in your blood. The lymphatics' job is to keep the blood alkaline. So it kicks the lymphatic system in gear, but it's already too compromised in 99, well, whatever, in most of the cases, let's put it that way. And the body can't clear it. And if it can't clear it, your hair's going to start falling out, your skin's going to turn white. That's lack of oxygen and blood supply, and it's corrupting the body, trying to save it. So I think I'll leave it right there at that. All right.
Well, thank you, Gary. I think we've discussed what we needed to talk about, and there is some fear in this, and that kind of yeah, it's like it is more to well, we can call it tough love. I mean, you need to know these things. You need to know, that it is time to take action. And I think that I think it's like the people that are here that are listening to us, they are ready to take action. But you may know people, the loved ones, your friends, your family, you would love to get information out. Maybe you can carefully share this with them. They may put it aside or not, but they may want to know more. It's in the description. It's always about how you can reach any of us through Facebook. My phone number is there. My websites are there. Emails are there. And yeah, I would like to, well, we're already an hour and 20 minutes in. So let's end this for today. And
Tony, can I add something before we do?
absolutely.
Okay. And I know you said that there are some fear in this, and that is just, the body's natural reaction, but you shouldn't fear anything in the first place. This is just a lot of times what people need for a wake-up call. And even earlier when I said, like we were talking about stage 5, when I said the body begins to return to the earth, I didn't mean it as doom. I meant it as a wake-up call. The body is made from earth. This is, it's what we come from. And when we live against God's design long enough, it starts to dissolve back to its origin. But I mean, there's still hope there for everybody. We're not powerless. And every stage is just an invitation for you to shift. It's an invitation for you to shift your course. We don't have to keep walking towards degeneration. You can rise and return back to light. You can return back to life. You can bring back your life force at any stage. The point is not fear, it's freedom. And once you know that you have the freedom, that you can be in, I hate using the word control, but you have control to make the choice. It is just a wake-up call. And don't blame yourself. Don't live in fear. This is what we've all been lied to. And that's is the point of all of this, is tearing down the lies. And don't put blame on anybody. Don't blame the doctors. Don't blame your family. Don't blame anything. It's just realize that we've all been lied to for generations, and we've all been doing the best with what we know what to do at that time. But again, like we all know, once you know better, you do better. So that's all you got to do. And you start making those changes today. Start with a smoothie. Start with deep breathing, like Gary teaches, and the lymphatic drainage, and go outside and stand barefoot. Just start. That's all you have to do is start.
Thank you, Sarah. Katie, you want to add anything to it before we close?
No, I agree with everything that everyone has been sharing, and that we are kind of missing the mark when we're not listening to our bodies. But, when we start listening to it, and we just make subtle changes, and we do the best that we can. And, we keep continuing to learn. As we learn, we apply. So, yeah.
And that was not on purpose. That's not a mistake either, Katie. We can't hear our bodies because we're running to school, we're going to the different practices, we're working long hours, we're doing all this stuff. It starts with everything. You gotta find a way for you to rest, and for you to be able to listen to God and listen to your body. And I know I say God a lot, and that's okay. Whatever you believe in, you have to listen to that voice to tell you what to do. And it starts with by trying to slow down. It's okay to say no to things. It's okay to put your own oxygen mask on first, because you can't help anyone if you pass out. That's why they tell you do that first. So the stronger you make yourself, the more you can help others. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Katie. And thank you, Gary, for all your wise comments.
And thank you, Tony.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for doing this every week.
Yeah.
It's I think it is important. I take it seriously. I'm really thinking about it, making the presentation, and it always shows up what I need to share on that particular Thursday. So it's interesting how that goes. So thank you guys
And
for being here.
actually, Tony, can I just add one more thing? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What I've been doing, and I've been 3 weeks on this now, and because I used to eat, some like cooked sweet potato, I would, do things like that kind of thing, and even salads I would do. But for the past 3 weeks, I think I'm going 3.5 weeks, I drink water. I try to get 32 ounces down, because I'm a terrible water drinker. And then I've been building up to try to get 64 ounces of water down. And then after that, I move over to my 32 ounces of orange juice. And I have been buying store-bought, because I just can't afford to keep squeezing my own oranges, but it is what it is. And then after that, I move to grapes, strawberries. And then at nighttime, I'll have a couple bananas with some dates. And are the cravings there? Absolutely. Did my son just go through graduation and we had all this food everywhere? Yes. Was it hard? Of course. But do I feel good? Heck yeah, I do. And it's just amazing that even just what the sweet potato or the salad was doing to me, that I didn't realize either. And that sounds like a very little bit of food, but I don't limit myself to the amount of grapes, strawberries, or even the bananas, because my body tells me. And I've been eating apples too. And what's really crazy is like I'm full after an apple. Whereas before I'd be like, I'll have some sweet potato with that too. And when I say sweet potato, like I'll cut up a sweet potato, I'll air fry it in my stainless steel air fryer. Like I do all that stuff the right way I'm supposed to do. But I didn't realize even what that was holding me back. Will I sustain that lifestyle, never go back to cooked foods? Probably not. I mean, I'm sure I'll start eating sweet potato again. But just even the little burst of what that has given me over the past 3 weeks has been crazy. And I think it's amazing.
It is, and you can be proud of yourself. I mean, you're doing it. And we keep experimenting with what works for us. And so, yeah, I always found any change interesting. So, all
And
right.
I've also found too that I'm taking my daily bread from God, and I'm really deep into that. I've been sleeping better and all kinds of stuff. And I think that's what is important is we're supposed to take our daily I don't know how to say it really, but our daily bread. And I think that's what the breatharians are missing too. If you're not in alignment, even what Dr. Morris said, like there's so much more out there once you become in alignment. You don't need the food when you're being fed from God at the same time. So there's definitely something into that. I don't know if we want to cover it here. I don't know if Katie and I will cover that over on our podcast when we eventually get it going back again, but there's something to that for sure. Okay, now I'm done. I love you guys. Thank you.
I love you.
Well, we love you. We love you
Oops.
all. So thanks everyone for being here, and much love to you. Enjoy your day. And if you haven't started yet, today is a good day to
Yes.
get started with the changes. And well, already mentioned, you know how to connect with us. We're there for you. So till the next time.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.